All right, Danny Savalos. The prosecutor seemed to be very sympathetic to me in what he said, that outward appearances, she didn't think the child would be accepted. But if it's true, what we're hearing, that everyone knew she was pregnant, her people in her community, I don't know. I mean...
Well, there's not much to know, except that if I'm the prosecutor in this case, I'm looking at the fact that everyone knew she was pregnant, everyone knew there would be a baby coming, and now the baby disappears. And my major challenge is proving whether or not the child was alive when born. And believe it or not, there is forensic evidence available to tell us that, including the diameter of the chest, the lungs, if they're hard or spongy, a number of different ways to tell. But it really depends on the condition of the remains. So it is a challenge, but be not fooled into thinking that prosecutors cannot win a case if they don't know for sure what the cause of death is. Sometimes prosecutors can win a case without even a body.
But Rachel Kugel, not having a cause of death, I've seen juries just don't want to convict.
Yeah, and I think especially when you're dealing with a mother and a baby, because that is, the idea of it is so horrific that juries want to find a way that isn't true. They're looking for that possibility, and I think there's so many possible forensic problems. I mean, first of all, the decomposition, they're never going to know what caused the death. They're never going to, I don't believe they're ever going to know whether the baby was alive or not and be able to actually prove it. I think it's going to be too difficult at this point. And I think they need to look at, this person is a child herself. I think they need to look at, whether there were other family members that might have also played some role.
Sometimes prosecutors benefit from less evidence. With a missing body, they can create a narrative, a sort of fiction, a fantasy that the jurors buy into. There's no body, there's no evidence because the defendant got rid of it, and now you can punish her.
But here's the problem. The problem is also someone can benefit when they go to the lengths of burning the body and burying the body and the decomposition. And I mean, we remember it in Casey Anthony.
Exactly.
Kaylee Anthony. I mean, the decomposition, of course, it was 6 months, it was 9 months, much longer, but the decomposition, the carrying away by animals just allowed so much benefit to...
However, Casey Anthony's case got better for Casey Anthony after they found the body, because prior to that, it was a case of her baby's missing, what a horrible mother. Once you found the body, that yields evidence that a defense attorney can use, and we all know what happened in that case. That was an acquittal.
Right, right. Melissa, let me ask you, what do we know about her? I mean, she was a member of National Honor Society, right?
That's right. She was a cheerleader, like you pointed out earlier. She was getting ready to go to the University of Cincinnati, which is a very prestigious school in this area. So she was a very well-rounded, gifted young lady. One thing that is puzzling in this case is that Ohio does have a safe haven law. And so if in a case that the mother doesn't want to keep the baby, it is legal in the state of Ohio for someone to turn that child in within 30 days of its birth to a law enforcement official or a medical authority.
That's interesting. Rachel, should we have sympathy for her? Empathy at all?
I mean, I think that's ultimately what they're going to go for. And not only that, it's not just about sympathy. It's also about evidence. And I think they're going to be lacking a lot of it in this case, and that's going to bring doubt.
But Danny, she intentionally did some acts here.
Exactly. And if I'm a prosecutor, I spend a lot of time, maybe even more than I do on the forensics, on the burning, the destroying of evidence, the destroying of this precious baby that was in her womb just maybe hours or even a day or so or however long before.
But we don't know how long. That she's the one that did that.
We don't know how. I've seen it before. We don't know how long, but she clearly had something to do. What mother would let this baby out of her sight? Look, that argument didn't work in Casey Anthony, but it might work with another jury.
All right. 2 young children.